So our plan this week was to do a video about putting the compost bin together. But we didn't get around to it because of the weather. It just didn't cooperate. It was rainy, cold, and windy. And so we're hoping to get that to you next week. Hopefully we'll get that done next week. That's the new plan. But for now, I need to get some seeds started indoors to put in the greenhouse later. And I also want to show you a few things that are going on around here. Well, here's what this room looks like most of the day. Mike put in the hardwood floors, but we haven't gotten the trim done yet. That's coming next. There's Eddie. There's Tangelo. And there are Fletcher and Cornelius. Spooky's probably upstairs. Anyway, this is what this room looks like most of the day. Meanwhile, what are you doing? You're waking the kitties up. You're waking the kitties up. So here's our current feeder situation. I really like this feeder because a friend of mine gave it to me, and it's really old. It gives them a lot of room to get around, and several of them eat at the same time. But as you can see, it gets filled with feathers. Even though that bar on the top is supposed to keep them from scratching food out, it's still, a lot of it ends up on the ground. Which, you know, they can still pick it out. The sand is just the best thing to put in the bottom of a chicken run. It stays dry. We haven't put any fresh sand in since the video we did about them molting. We've just kind of raked up the feathers, you know, as we need to. But the other feeder back there is okay. It's a little hard to get to, and they managed to scratch it out of there, and it ends up all over the ground. So we decided that it's time to try something different. Whoa. So I was down at the feed store the other day, and I saw this feeder that has legs, and I really liked it. There was no price on it, and they were kind of busy, so I didn't ask about it. But I came home and looked for it online, and I found it on Amazon. And I was thinking about it. I could order it. It'll be a few days. Geese. But I decided to go on back down to the feed store today, and I was able to talk to somebody. And as it turns out, it was like $15 cheaper at the feed store. I much prefer to buy locally. It's just sometimes when you're looking for something, your local store doesn't have it. But I was so happy to be able to buy this new chicken feeder down at the feed store and get a great deal. So here's what I decided to get. It's the Double Tough 26-pound poultry feeder with legs. That holds about half a bag of feed. So we're going to fill it up and see how they like it. This bucket I have here is pretty full. I'm still feeding them a mixture of the layer feed and the chick starter feed, just because a lot of them, their feathers are still coming back in. But here's what a nice big bucket of feed. And that's the mixture of the layer feed and the chick starter, non-medicated chick starter feed, just to help them along with the molting. So this is nice because it has a top on it. You can just lift off and fill the feed, and they can't get up on top of here and perch. Let's just even it up a little bit. Hey, girl. Okay, that's full, but I can push it down. More of it'll come out. How about that? And there's room to add a little bit more in there. I think that's going to work out perfectly. I'm also looking for a waterer with legs for out here. They kick a lot of leaves and everything up into that one, so I'm looking for a waterer with legs. And the guy at the feed store told me he would check around and see what they can order. So shop locally whenever you can. And here we have our peas coming up. Not as strong as I was hoping for, but I really think that when we did this soil, we didn't put enough compost in the mix. This was a new bed last spring, and once we got to a certain point, I think we were just like, okay, that's enough. But we probably should have put more compost in, but we're fixing to do that now. Those are sugar snap peas. There's some parsley, oregano, and there's some thyme, some rosemary back in there. We've been using that for chicken. Of course, the chives. I'll be cutting those back here soon. This is the best luck I've had with cilantro. I've always grown it in the summer and it goes straight to seed, so I think growing it in the cool weather is the key for that. And our little carrot patch. They're looking pretty good. I'm gonna leave them alone for now. So I just wanted to get some seeds started for the greenhouse. I'm gonna start them inside because it's warm and I have a heating mat. And then once they have a few sets of leaves, I'll put them out in the greenhouse and see what we can get going to have to eat in the winter. I just used some seed starter mix that I had from last year. I got it ready a couple days ago because I wanted it to be nice and moist in there because it was really, really dry. Here's the first thing I'm gonna put in. It's a mixed lettuce, heirloom seeds. This is green ice leaf lettuce. There are 1,000 seeds in this. See, and I don't have to write all this down because I'm taking video. How about that? So these seeds are very, very small, so I'm just going to lightly put them in here. Just gonna sprinkle these in here. Let's do 2 rows of those. Now this is Paris Island romaine lettuce. Well, since I spilled some in here trying to show the camera, I'm just going to plant the romaine lettuce on this side. Okay, and since we're doing our romaine down at this end, I'm going to put in some of this red romaine lettuce. This is from the Ohio Heirloom Seeds Company. I like keeping my seeds in these little photo container things. Okay. Next we have black-seeded Simpson. Black-seeded Simpson. Now here's some bib lettuce that I got from University of Kentucky. They have an extension office in our county, and they're a great source of information, and they give seeds out and things like that. And this variety of lettuce was actually developed somewhere in Frankfurt. And we love spinach. We use a lot of spinach in our green drinks and in cooking and in salads. These are a lot bigger than the normal lettuce seeds. I'm gonna do 2 rows of spinach. Maybe I'll try a different kind. How about this is the Bloomsdale Long-Standing. Let's also put in the Big Ruffles Hybrid. I'm gonna get a row of beets started too. Arugula or rocket, and they're very tiny too, not as small as the lettuce seeds. And I definitely want to get some more kale started. I think I'll just do couple of different varieties here. I have this dinosaur kale with Cinto, and they're very small. I'm just going to put a couple in each of these cell pods. Do a couple more of these red Russian kales. And I have one more dwarf blue curled. This is usually what we see in the grocery store. Okay, now that those are all planted, I like to just kind of push them in. I'm going to use some of this mix that I had started with and just kind of dust it on top. Just give it a light little dusting. These bigger ones can be pushed in some. I feel some chunks in there. I like to get those out. And then what I like to do is just get a spray bottle of water, just any old cheap spray bottle of water. So here's where our little baby plants get their start. We have a LED light there and the heat mat, because seeds need warmth for germination. Most seeds do. It'll help. So here's our little setup. The lights aren't really needed right now. I just wanted to show you how I do it. And then once the plants come up, we'll get them separated out and put them in the greenhouse. Well, a little bit has changed since I went outside. Eddie switched positions. And thanks for joining us. Come back next week. Hopefully we'll be doing the compost bin. If not, it'll be something in the greenhouse because we actually have a lot to do. Thanks.